good morning students and welcome to the first lecture of civics. In civics, just like history, in civics also we are going to follow the same strategy. I am going to give you some revision questions after the end of the video lecture and you are going to find out the answers to it, and then we will move on with the teaching and the revision questions and answers simultaneously. In the end of the chapter, I will provide you with the PDF of the exercise notes of your chapter. So students, how's life going on in this lockdown? Getting very bored, missing school, right? Early times you used to be very happy, you wanted holidays, and now I don't think for a year or two you will ask for any more holidays from now onwards. Alright children, so today we are coming to the first chapter of civics, that is working of the constitution. So children, civics is a subject which is very interesting and which is related to our everyday life. Whatever we do in our routine life, in our everyday life, that subject, that activities and the importance, the significance of those activities with respect to the national development is what we learn in this subject, which is called as civics. Although from the name it seems similarly boring like history, but don't worry. This civics, I promise you, civics is going to be the most interesting subject of your life now onwards. So let's get going. Chapter 1, Working of the Constitution. Now, what does this word constitution means? Long word once again, but very simple. It is nothing. It is a book. Very simple. This constitution is nothing but a book. A book containing all answers to the question. Which question? This is a book which is containing all the answers to the question. To which question? How should the country run? Or how should a particular country run? This question is having various aspects. There can't be one single answer to this question, right? Because when we run a country, there is not only one single point of view from which we have to run a country. Just take an example of your family, of your parents. You have, imagine there are 4 members in your house, your parents, your sibling and yourself. Now for running a house, for running a family also, there are so many different aspects. Your father, the head of the family, has to work hard a lot, has to think about every different aspect of family life. He has to manage his finances accordingly. He has to see about your education. He has to look after the security of the family. He has to look after the health care of your family, your mother, your sibling, yourself. He has to take care of each and every aspect of his family. So children, just imagine taking care of a family is so difficult. Then when we talk about a country, and especially when we talk about a country like India where 130 crore people are residing, then see, it is such a tedious task to run such a huge country, and that too a democracy. So this question, how should the country run? This question is having different aspects, like for example 2-3 aspects I have mentioned here on the board. Structure of the government. How will be the structure of the government? If you are running a particular country, what will be the government like? Then another aspect is offices under the government. Which offices will be under the government? What will be the structure of the government? How many organs will be there of the government? And what areas will the organs take care of? So there are many questions. In this question, in this single questions, there are infinite number of questions hidden, to which all the answers are provided in this book called as Constitution. Great, na children? It sounds so great that this one book has the answers to so many number of questions. And yes, this book is also written by the great leaders and the scholarly people of a nation. So, when we talk about the Indian Constitution especially, see children, Indian Constitution is recognized as the lengthiest constitution of the world. Lengthiest, you understand? That means longest constitution. We have every single thing written in the constitution. That means every aspect of how a country should run is written crystal clear in our constitution. So it is a thing to be very proud of, right? Then, I will tell you most important 5 words on which the working of the country depends. Especially when we talk about India, the constitution has given this 5 adjectives to your country. How is your country? How will you describe India? What kind of, yes, of course, we call it a democracy, but still, plainly saying democracy doesn't give you a clear idea of what a country is like. So, when these 5 words, these are the 5 words that describe your nation. These are the 5 words. First one is sovereign, second one is socialist, third one is secular, fourth one is democratic, and fifth one is republic. Very important 5 words. You can make a catchphrase over here. You can remember this. S3DR. You can remember it like this. S3DR. Alright. So what do you mean by sovereign? Sovereign means, children, a country who is not having any kind of binding by any other country of the world. Maybe developed, maybe undeveloped. Alright. A country who is, you can say, अपनी मर्जी की मालिक जो country होती है उसे हम कहते हैं sovereign country. Very simple. No need to go in more complications. Clear? Then second one is socialist. Now very important word, children. See children, our country has adopted the concept of welfare state. अब ये welfare state क्या होता है? Social welfare, making it more simple, we will say social welfare. Social welfare मतलब welfare or benefit of the society as a whole. Not only of a particular class of a society, but that of the society as a whole. So, a country which thinks about the society as a whole and the development, the wholesome development of every member of the society, that kind of country is called as a socialist country. A country who keeps social welfare at the base of whatever functions it performs. Alright, next part is secular. Very simple word. Secular means very simple, children. Religion and government. Two things, that means politics and religions, will never interfere in each other's work. Religion अपने काम से काम रखेगा और politics अपने काम से काम रखेगा. So government will not interfere in any religious matters, neither any religion will interfere in the matters of the state or in the matters of the government. This is called as secularism. Politics, or you can say government of the country has a different sphere and religion of the country has a different sphere. They have their own working areas and they can't interfere in each other's work. This is called as secular nation. In very simple terms, we can say that the government cannot force any person to follow a particular religion. Rather, if anybody wants to get converted from one religion to another, everything is allowed in our country once you cross the age of 18 years. That means you have the freedom of choosing any religion what you want, of getting converted from one religion to another, or if you don't want to follow any religion at all, that option is also there. So, treating every religion with equal respect is what we call as a secular country. Next, democratic. Now democratic, you know very well. Democracy, we all know the definition, the finest and the easiest definition of democracy. Government of the people, for the people and by the people. Yes, we have by-hearted it since childhood. Alright, so wherever people themselves rule their country or their elected representatives rule the country, it is called as a democratic country. That means it is not a monarchy, neither a dictatorship. Monarchy matlab a country where there is a rule of a king, and dictatorship means a country where there is a rule of a dictator. Now again one question comes over here. What is the difference between a king and a dictator? What is the difference? Very important and very simple difference. Okay. Now for example, a king is a king. Because of whom? Because of whom? Because of he being born or she being born into a royal family. Right? Because it is the tradition of his or her family that they are the royal family, and the people from their family, especially when we talk about India, the male members of the family go on the throne one by one. They succeed each other. So because a king is a king because his father was a king, his grandfather was a king. So he gets the power in heredity. Understood? But when we talk about a dictator, the best example of dictator, everybody knows? Yes, Adolf Hitler. So, a dictator doesn't get his power from his family or from the people or from anywhere else. A dictator is a person who forcefully grabs the power and rules a country. Understood? किंग को जो पावर मिलती है वो अपने खानदान से मिलती है और डिक्टेटर जो होता है वो छीन के पावर लेता है. Very clear? And we don't live either in a dictatorship nor in a monarchy. Rather, we live in a democracy. Very clear? Next part, republic. Very simple. Wherever a country is ruled by the person who is elected by the people, who is chosen by the people, that country is called as republic. So, 5 words, very important. Catchphrase that you are going to remember is S3DR. Sovereign, Socialist, Secular, Democratic Republic. Alright? Now, moving on children, this chapter is divided into 3 sections. First section is democracy, which we are going to do today in this lecture. Second section is social justice. And third section is role of judiciary. However, from these 3 sections, the second and the third section we are going to do in our upcoming lectures, and today we are just going to focus on the first section, that is democracy. Again, definition is written on the board: government of, for and by the people. You all know very well. Now children, democracies also are of 2 types, right? Direct democracy, indirect democracy. Now what is all this? Don't worry, it's very simple. See, democracy, direct and indirect. A direct democracy. Alright, suppose you are a family of 4. Again, we'll come back to the same example. You are a family of 4. Any decision in your family is taken by all of you sitting on in a particular place, maybe on the dining table during your lunch or dinner, and you take whatever important decisions. You all vote for a decision. Alright, so every vote is important in the decision of your family. This is called as direct democracy. Very simple. A country where each and every citizen participates in decision making is called as direct democracy. Now just imagine, children, India, a country of 130 crores. 8 people can't stay together in a joint family in India. Hai na? People keep on fighting, people keep on quarreling. Do you think that when 10 people also will come in a place, see, every day you watch those debates, heated debates on the TV channels, especially news channels. Alright, so 4 people there, 4 people, hardly 4 people are there in a debate. They also can't discuss an issue without making any kind of commotion. They also shout and yell and speak what nonsense God knows. Alright, so from this we are very clear that 130 crore people coming in one single place and participating in decision making is almost impossible. Almost what? Completely impossible. So now I can give you a hint over here. Just think a bit, in which countries direct democracies will take place or direct democracy will be practiced. In which kind of countries? Just think. Give a little, prick your mind a little. Yes, that's correct. In countries with less population. Obviously, wherever there will be less population, people can come together and take a decision. So, the example of such a country is Switzerland. Switzerland, children, is a direct democracy where the whole population is participating in decision making. There is a referendum kind of a concept where the vote of each and every citizen is taken before taking a decision. But the population of Switzerland is 85.7 lakhs and the population of India is 135.26 crores according to the latest data. Now, you just calculate, whenever you get time you calculate that how much percentage is Switzerland's population as compared to India's population. The percentage is only 0.6%, children. Not even 1%. Understood? That is why Switzerland can be a direct democracy and India can't be a direct democracy at all. So then what we do in India? We elect our representatives, right? Just like your director of your school, he cannot take a meeting of all the students in one go, right? So whatever decision he has to take, what is he going to do? He will ask the teacher to have a conversation with the class and take the views or take the opinions of the students, and then your class teacher will become a representative of your class, and with your opinions your class teacher will proceed to your director. And likewise, all the class teachers of all the classes will represent their respective classes, and the director will conduct a meeting with all the class teachers who are your representatives. And this is how a final decision will be taken. So simple. Rather than taking a decision with such a lot of example, for example, there are thousand students in your school. 1,000 students in your school. So taking a meeting of 1,000 students and taking a meeting of 25 teachers, what is more convenient, children? Obviously the later one. So the same kind of representative kind of framework is carried out in our democracy. So we call India an indirect democracy, or you can also call it representative democracy. Very clear? Now, whatever decisions are to be taken, they are taken by the representatives. Now, how is your class teacher given the class teachership of your class? Of course, it is the decision of the management. The management takes the decision. But when we talk about the representatives with respect to a democracy, the decision is not of any person who is sitting up. The person is of the people who are at the ground level. How? By the right to vote. You will vote your representative. You will give vote in every elections. See children, in a democracy, the very base on which a democracy resides is the system of elections, and that too after regular intervals. So elections are conducted after regular intervals, and all the people are given right to vote. That is our next topic also, right to vote. In India, everybody is given universal adult franchise. Did not understood? I'll make you understand, don't worry. Universal means which is applicable for everybody. Everybody. Kala, gora, koi bhi. सबके लिए applicable है. Men, women, everybody. So universal means applicable for all. Adult. Adult means a person who is 18 plus in age. Adult means a person who is 18 plus in age. And franchise. Franchise means again what? Right to vote. So in India, we have universal adult franchise. That is everybody who is a citizen of India and is above 18 years of age can vote in the elections. Also, along with these children, I would like to tell you one more thing, that earlier this 18 years age was of 21 years. Later on, this was reduced to 18 years. And what happened because of this reduction of the age to 18 years? More and more youth participation in the political decisions increased. Now even the young people, the young blood of the country can participate in the elections. Why? Young people have very, they have very provoking thoughts. Their thoughts are fresh, clear, and they are not muddied by the so-called traditions, so-called superstitions, so-called we can say prejudices, and so-called the society, whatever the society preaches, whatever the society teaches. The youth, they are having their own thoughts. Their thoughts are not muddied, and that is why the participation of youth in elections is very, very important, children. And we have it here in India. So, democracy resides on the foundation of elections. Elections are carried out in which all the citizens can vote, and this is how a democracy is erected in a particular country. Now, let us move on to the next part, that is democratic decentralization. Now, again, very long word, decentralization. See children, wherever, always remember one sentence. Okay, I'll not write, I'll just tell you, remember one sentence. Power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So if power is given to one single person, in the hands of one single person, then he can use it according to his own wish and will. There will be no checks and balances on his power, on the use of his powers, right? But if power is distributed between different organs or different people, then each and everyone can have a check and balance on the other, right? So the misuse of power, we cannot say it can be completely, we can dismiss the possibility, we cannot say that we can dismiss the possibility of misuse, but at least the possibility of misuse of power can be reduced to a little extent, and that is enough. So decentralization means division of power, right from the top level to the bottom level. To decentralize the power, not to concentrate whole power in one particular place, but to release this power and decentralize that power. This is called as democratic decentralization, which is the essence of democracy, children. Now, in India, we have two tiers of the government. Tiers, very simple levels, two levels of the government. We have one central government for the whole country, and we have different state governments for every state of the country, right? So if you have a problem, see, if citizens in a country, in a vast country like India, children, rather India is also called subcontinent. Subcontinent मतलब क्या? Continent का छोटा भाई. Continent कितना बड़ा होता है, right? तो subcontinent continent से छोटा होगा, पर of course country से तो बड़ा होगा. इतना बड़ा है हमारा इंडिया. So India is called as a subcontinent, children. So imagine in a vast country like India, which is spreading in different nooks and corners, how can one central government take care of everyone in the country? Not possible. That is why we have second tier of the government, that is the state government in every particular state. So the state government can take care of its people because less number of population and less burden is there on the state government, and then these state governments can report to the central government. Very simple, very easy. So now what happened, children? After some time, when the constitution was framed, the country was running for some years. After some time, the rulers of the country, they found or they discovered a necessity that we also need to have a third tier of government. We also need to have a third level of government which can go more near to the people, which can attend the problems of the people at the grassroots level. Because India is a country of villages, children, right? And that is why every single, see children, our country was completely poverty stricken. When Britishers left our country, they carried away all the wealth, all the riches of India to their own country. So India was left with poverty, with unemployment, with disastrous agriculture. So it was more important that a tier of government, a level of government should function very close to people, so that the everyday problems what people encounter, they could be able to share their problems with that tier of the government, and the government could solve the problems of the people. So according to the 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act, now again, three long words, Constitutional Amendment Act. Don't worry at all. Constitutional means something about the constitution. Amendment, very important word. Amendment is a word, children, which allows changes to be made to your constitution. It is already written in the constitution that with the passing time, if the government of the country feels, if the representatives of the people feel that there should be made any change in the constitution, any improvisation of the constitution needs to be done, then that improvisation you can do. You can make that much change in the constitution. Accordingly, many changes have been made in the constitution till date. So this is called as amendment. See, very simple, I'll tell you, very simple example. You all use different apps on your smartphone, right? After some days, an update of that app comes. What is there in the update? There are some advanced features of that particular app in the update. What you do? You immediately update it. Okay, you don't wait for a Wi-Fi also. You immediately update it on your mobile data only. Why? Because you want to take advantage of those advanced features, right? So the way you update your app for your benefit, In the same way, some amendments are made to the constitution for the benefit of the nation. Very clear? Very simple. So, according to the 73rd and 74th amendment, a third tier or a third level of government was created, and that was called as local self-government. Local because it was very close to people, self because again people were elected, people voted, and people ruled, people worked in that particular governments. That is why self, and governments because it was a part of the government. That is why we call it local self-government. Now, examples of this local self-governments are the Gram Panchayat, the Panchayat Samiti, the municipality, the municipal corporation, the Nagar Parishad. All these institutions of the government that function at very grassroots level, these are called as local self-government. And it is important, children. For example, if you don't get water, drinking water supply, if you don't get for suppose 20 days at a go, where you are going to go? To the Nagar Parishad, obviously, right? You will go to the Nagar Parishad, file a complaint, or you can ask if you have any, you can meet the CEO of the Nagar Parishad or any other person, any other authority over there, and you can ask that why our particular colony is not getting water supply from 20 days, right? And you can get your problem solved then and there. You don't have to step out of Washim also, right? But imagine if there wouldn't have been this third tier, this local self-government wouldn't have been there, then every second time, do you think it is possible for us to move to Mumbai, to the central government, to the headquarters of the to the headquarters of the state government? Is it feasible for us to move for every chotu sa problem? No, of course not, right? That is why this local self-government is very important to solve our day-to-day problems. So children, up till here, the whole overview of what is the content of your democracy section of this chapter is completed. We have a special topic to study here, that is RTI Act of 2005. RTI, Right to Information. You have the right to information from 2005. Now what do you mean by this? What information do you need? For example, you come to know that the central government has given some funds, कुछ पैसे दिए हैं सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को, ठीक है, और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ने वाशिम की जो लोकल गवर्नमेंट है उनको थोड़े पैसे उसमें से दिए और बोला कि वाशिम की जितनी भी सड़क है, जो भी मेन रोड है एटलीस्ट, वो तुम उसके गड्ढे बुझा के उसको अच्छा कर लो, एकदम चिकना चिकना कर दो वो सड़क को, ऐसा बोला. बट nobody is doing anything. You go complain, they will say yes, we don't, that officer is not on duty today, he is on leave, we don't have this person present today, he is having the records, this, that, है ना, and they will just neglect you, they will not take care of you. But if you have this right to information, it is a very important weapon in the hands of the citizens, children. In such case, now after 2005, since you have this right, what you can do is, you can go to the Nagar Parishad. There you will have a different department of public communication kind of a department is there, where the people can go and they can lodge an RTI application. RTI, one application you have to fill under this, which is called as Right to Information application. You will fill that application, you will write your name, your ward number, your complaint, what your complaint is, and that form you will get only in 10 rupees. Which is affordable almost for every second person of the country. So you will write a application, you will submit that application, and then you will move from there. Now, what is so special? Writing is very important, then speaking, then asking orally. Yes, writing is very important. Why? Because you have a proof. You have a proof that you have filed a complaint, right? And the most important thing of this RTI Act is that, children, this law tells the government that whoever officers are responsible for answering to the public, they should answer the RTI application within a period of 30 days. So the officers are bound to give you answer to your RTI application in a period of 30 days. That means 1 month. That means now you are sure that you are going to get your answer within 30 days. You are going to get the information. Right? And after that, you can move on. You can go to the courts. You can file a case, or whatever you want to do, you can do. You can take the coming action after that. So children, this RTI Act, it imposes a responsibility on the part of the government, that the government will have to answer the people. They will have to answer the people. They cannot try to escape from it, right? And if the public officer is not giving you the information within 30 days, then action will be taken against that public officer. So RTI Act, very important. What is happening because of it? Because of this act, you are coming to know about every information that was hidden from you till date. And since the information is shared with the public, the information is made public, because of that, the government cannot work secretly and cannot pocket the funds secretly. Any officer for that matter, he cannot pocket the funds secretly, because anytime anybody can come and file the RTI application, and then what? So this RTI Act, this created a kind of transparent environment in the country, and that is why it is a revolutionary act in the history of India. So children, with this topic, with the right to information, we have come to an end of this video lecture. Now I'll give you some revision questions of which you need to find the answers. So take a notebook, take a pen, and kindly write down these questions. First question, what is the objective of the Indian Constitution? I repeat, what is the objective of the Indian Constitution? Second, when did the Constitution come into force? When did the when did the Indian Constitution come into force? Third question, what is an indicator of India's successful democracy? All these answers are available in your textbook, children. Once you go through your textbook, you will get answers to all the questions. Don't worry about that. What is an indicator of India's successful democracy? Fourth, what is democracy defined? Very simple. What is democracy defined? Fifth question, who has the right to vote in India? I repeat, who has the right to vote in India? Sixth question, why is decentralization important in a democracy? Why is decentralization important in a democracy? Next, what change did the 73rd and 74th Amendment Act bring about? What change did the 73rd and 74th Amendment Act bring about? Next question, in which year was the Right to Information Act enacted? In which year was the Right to Information Act enacted? Next question, what is the essential condition of democracy? What is the essential condition of democracy? Next question, what is the right of the citizen? What is the right of the citizen? Next, which rights have strengthened democracy in India? Last question, which rights have strengthened democracy in India? Alright children, kindly find answers to this question. Enjoy learning. Keep good health. Bye-bye.